Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to catch literally every fish in Fortnite Chapter 3. Now, in this chapter, we have gotten an entirely new fishing dex. Now, with that being said, literally every fish that we see in this fishing dex has actually been in the game before. Just thought that I'd mention that to you guys because it makes the process a lot easier when you're actually going ahead to catch all of these fish. So let's actually jump right into the video. Now, to start it off, before we even get into specific fish, basically how these videos work is in the beginning part, I typically tell you guys to go into a battle lab lobby because that is usually the best spot to actually catch fish in Fortnite. But if I actually load up a battle lab, then I can show you guys why in this season you cannot fish in a battle lab, and it absolutely sucks. It makes this process so much more painful. I don't know why Epic Games did this. To be totally honest, this is my least favorite part about Chapter 3. But if we actually go ahead and open the map to try and see our collections, you guys can see that they're literally just not there. So as of the moment, you cannot catch fish in battle labs. Now, typically battle labs is the best area to do it because there's no one else trying to kill you all the time, and you can just fish in peace and quiet. But apparently Epic does not want us to be able to do that, and instead you're going to have to do this in normal solo, duo, squads, lobbies, all that good stuff. So I'm actually going to be showing you guys the easiest way to do this in those game modes. Now, in theory, this will also actually work in Team Rumble, but in Team Rumble, you have a very limited amount of time before the zone actually shrinks in. So personally, I did this in solos, but I'm 99% sure that this would also work in Team Rumble. Someone confirm down in the comment section down below if you want to, if you actually go ahead and try it there. But personally, I would recommend just doing it in the base game modes. So with that out of the way, I'm going to get into my second point, and this is actually all of the new locations. Now, of course, we got an entirely new map this season, and for those who don't know, certain fish have certain areas that you actually need to be in order to catch them. Now, there are a ton of different places on this map, but I'm going to be giving you guys my top place for every single region. So, for example, the coastal area, I have a specific spot, and then for the swamp area, again, another spot. So let's actually jump right into that. Now, as you guys can see from the map on screen right now, I have highlighted all of the different areas that are region specific. And basically what that means is that when you're looking for a fish that is specific to a region, let's say we're looking for the green shieldfish. He is in the forest area section. So you would actually come on down to the area right near the Jonases or the Jonesies. I don't even know how to say that. But the area down there has a lot of really good fishing spots, and it's a forest location. So you'll be able to fish down there and catch all of those fish. I'll pop this map up on screen every time I go to a specific fish in case some of you guys are not watching this part and you're just jumping around to specific fish and you're looking for one in specific. I'll pop the map up every time. So for any of you guys watching it the whole way through, thank you. It honestly means a ton. If you're watching this part of the video, then just comment down below gummy bears on top and I will heart your comment and probably reply to you. That's just our little thing. But hey, it's okay to skip around as well if you're looking for a specific fishy. It is just a lot more convenient though to watch through the whole video, or at least up until I get into the specifics, just due to the fact that you'll actually know exactly where to go, everything to do. Let's actually move on to our next topic. Now, this is the hardest topic about this season, and since Battle Labs is disabled and all of our great spots from the last chapter are now gone, it's a lot harder to get a pro fishing rod. So I have a really good method to actually try and get one every single game, but sometimes it's a bit inconsistent. There's really no way to make this perfect because of all these setbacks Epic has actually put in place to the ability to actually fill out your fishing dex. Now, to start it off, a lot of fish in the fishing dex actually do require a pro fishing rod. And when you are looking for those fish, of course, you're going to need to be using one. Now, the ways to obtain a pro fishing rod are A, you pull it out of one of the fishing crates and you just get really lucky. B, you pull it out of a floor loot spawn and you get incredibly lucky. Or C, you have 300 gold bars on you and you actually upgrade a standard fishing rod into a pro fishing rod at one of the many upgrade stations located around the map. Now, I feel like the third one is actually a lot harder than it sounds because you need to find one, then you need to go to a fishing spot, then you need to fish, and you're doing this all while you're getting contested by other players, and at the same time, the storm is also circling in on you, so you're having less time to actually fish. So that strategy gets very difficult. The way that I have actually worked this out is I actually upgraded one of my base rods into a pro fishing rod during one of my games, and then I put it into one of my tents. Now, the tents are a really cool feature this season, and basically it allows you to carry items in between games. So what I did is I stuffed a pro fishing rod into there, and then anytime that I needed a pro fishing rod, I would try and find a nearby tent, and then I would open up that tent and pull out my pro fishing rod. Now, you just need to make sure that you get the pro fishing rod back into that tent before you actually leave the fishing spot or before you die, so that the next time you actually want to fish at that spot or at a different spot, you actually have that pro fishing rod in a different game. It just makes it a lot more convenient, and it's a nice little strategy to use, especially since the obtainment of a pro fishing rod is so difficult this season. And honestly, Epic, if you're watching this video, please consider reinstating Battle Labs as a viable place to fish up until the Maven masks come out, because my guess is that just like last season with the tuna fish requirements, for the Maven masks, you are most likely going to need to catch fish. And obviously, you don't want people just farming that out in Battle Labs. Epic actually wants to make it challenging, but for those of us who are just here to collect the fishies, it would mean a ton to us if you actually re-enabled Battle Lab up until that comes out. But let's actually get back to the topic at hand, and let's start off counting these fishies up. Now, the first 3 fish are our good old floppers, and these guys can actually be caught anywhere as long as you're fishing in a fishing hole, and they're extremely easy to catch. You'll eventually get all of these guys. You can be using literally any type of rod, and as you guys can see from the map, you can catch these guys literally anywhere. Now, moving on to our 4th fish, the black and blue shield fish. This guy can, again, be caught anywhere, except he's a little bit different than the floppers because he's a shield fish. He's not a flopper, so this guy will be caught anywhere. As long as you're fishing in a fishing hole with any type of fishing rod or harpoon gun, you'll eventually catch this guy. Now, moving on to our 5th fish, we have our black striped shield fish. This is our first region locked fish, and basically you can only catch this guy in coastal areas. Now, as you guys can see from the map on screen right now, my best location for this is actually right over on the right side of the map. Now, I believe it's actually right over here. Yep, this is the perfect fishing area that you're going to want to go to. It has a ton of fishing rods over there, and you're going to be able to get a ton of fishing spots all along this lake, and it's just an amazing spot. I think that this is like the fisher's area for Chapter 3, honestly. It's a great spot to fish, and it is perfect for that coastal area black striped shield fish. Now, our 6th fish is the first one found only in forest areas. This is the green shield fish. Now, there aren't really that many forest areas on this map since it's obviously so covered in snow right now. So my recommendation for this would actually be to go down to this little area right over here. There's a decent bit of fishing holes right over in this area. Doesn't look like there will be that many, but there's like 5 or 6. And I actually got it on my first try going over here. So you might get super unlucky, and this may take you a few games to get, but eventually you'll actually be able to come on down here and easily get yourself one of these green shield fish. Now, the 7th fish that we actually have is the pink shield fish, and this is our first one that requires a pro fishing rod. Now, even though this guy can be caught anywhere, he's extremely difficult to obtain because obviously you need to have one of those pro fishing rods. And again, if you want to see how to obtain those, just go back to the timestamp where I actually tell you guys the best ways to get a pro fishing rod this season and how to do all of that stuff. I would explain it right here, but if I did it right here, then I'd have to do it for literally every fish that uses a pro fishing rod, and that would take me an eternity. So just for the sake of the length of this video, I'm just going to link you guys back to where I talked about it at the beginning. Now, for the 8th fish, we have the light blue shield fish, and this guy can be caught anywhere, so literally any fishing spot on the map. As long as you show up there with a fishing rod, you'll eventually catch yourself a light blue shield fish, your 8th fishy. Now, for the 9th fish, we have the blue slurpfish, and again, this guy can be caught anywhere. The slurpfish is nice like that because he's just like the floppers. I mean, he can literally be caught at any fishing spot around the map. Just go there with a fishing rod, and you'll eventually catch yourself the blue slurpfish. Our 10th fish is the yellow slurpfish. This guy can only be caught in swamp areas, and this is the funniest swamp area I think I have ever seen. What in the world did Epic do making this lake a swamp area? This chunk does not look like a swamp. Now, after the snow actually comes off, it will most likely look a lot more like a swamp, but this giant lake in the center of the map, I believe that this is what they're calling Loot Lake, or actually, I think this is what they're... Actually, one of these two they're calling Loot Lake, but anyways, this is a swamp area for some reason. So, hey, if you want to catch this fish, fish number 10, the yellow slurpfish, go on down there, fish at the fishing hole, holes, and you'll eventually catch yourself a fish number 10. Fish number 11 is the Purple Slurpfish, and this guy can actually only be caught in mountainous areas. So you're going to want to come up here to this little lake area, which is in fact a mountainous area. It's got a decent bit of fishing holes around here, and there's also fishing rods right at that shack down there. So it's actually really nice because all you need to do is go ahead and break open the fishing barrels, then just start fishing in the fishing holes, and you'll eventually catch yourself fish number 11. Now for fish number 12, we have the Black Slurpfish, and this guy, in my opinion, is the second hardest fish to actually catch out of all of them. Now, this is due to the fact that he can only be caught in coastal areas, first off, and the second one is at nighttime. Now, nighttime didn't used to be an issue because in Battle Labs, you could just set the daytime to nighttime and then you would instantly catch him. But since you have to do this in a base game mode game, it's so difficult. You basically need to go right over here, go to this coastal area spot that I've recommended to you guys, but then you just need to wait for nighttime. You either need to get extremely lucky and load into a game that is already in the nighttime, or you just need to wait for it. For context, the day and night cycles in Fortnite are about 9 minutes per. So if you're at the very beginning of day, then that's some tough luck. You probably won't get it that game. But if you're going right at the end of daytime, or maybe you're showing up right at the beginning of nighttime or right in the middle, you should, in theory, have enough time to actually catch this fish. So again, make sure that you're over in this coastal area, make sure it's nighttime, and then you'll eventually catch yourself the 12th fish. Fish number 13, in my opinion, is the hardest fish to catch this season. Now, the White Slurpfish has the most requirements out of any fish. It literally always has. For those who don't know, I've made this video on how to catch every fish all the way back since Chapter 2, Season 4, when the fishing decks actually got first added to the game. And back then, this fish was also extremely hard to catch. The White Slurpfish has always been a menace out there on the field, on the Battle Royale island. But basically, how you're going to need to catch this fish is in a swamp area at night with a pro fishing rod. Now, if you want to know how to get a pro fishing rod, again, I'm going to link you back to the beginning of the video in case you skipped over it. All good if you did, but it would take a while to explain it here if I did not. Now, the second requirement is actually the swamp areas requirement. Now, if you skipped over where I was explaining this earlier, somehow this area is a swamp area. Do not ask me how. Most likely it'll make more sense once the snow actually melts, but this giant lake is a swamp area, so you're just going to need to fish over there. Then the final requirement is the hardest. It has to be caught at nighttime, and again, that's extremely difficult to do because you just kind of have to get lucky when you're fishing over there. You also need to have a pro fishing rod at the same time. This one is just such specific circumstances to actually get it. This one was the last fish that I caught when I was actually catching all of these fish. Now, the 14th fish is the light blue small fry. This guy can actually be caught literally anywhere on the map, except here's the catch for all of the small fries, and this goes true for literally all of them. You can only catch these guys from outside of fishing holes, and you cannot catch them with harpoon guns. You are going to need a normal or pro fishing rod, but typically you'll only have a normal one. And this is actually true for the first 3 small fries. So for 14, 15, and 16, the light blue small fry, tan small fry, and purple top small fry just fish outside of a fishing hole. Fish anywhere in the open water, and eventually your line will actually pull. Now, when it does this, it might give you some medium ammo, it might give you a tin can, but eventually you will actually catch yourself all of these small fries. Now, moving on to fish number 17, the black small fry. This is our first small fry with a requirement, and this is that you can only catch him at nighttime. So again, you're just going to need to get lucky with when you actually load into your Battle Royale game, and you're just going to have to hope that you load it in at nighttime. If it's dark outside though and the lights are dim, then just go ahead and fish outside of a fishing hole until you actually catch yourself the black small fry. Now, the 18th fish is our last small fry, and this guy can only be caught in coastal areas. So basically, just come on down over to this area. Again, this is my favorite fishing spot over on this coastal area. I think it might be my favorite fishing spot on the entire map, but I don't know. We're still pretty early into the season. Might be too early to make that call right now. But basically, you're just going to want to go outside of fishing holes. Do not fish in a fishing hole. Rather, just fish in the open water to catch your 18th fish. Now, moving on to the 19th fish. fish, we have the Slurp Jellyfish, and this guy is the first of the jellyfish breed. Now, this guy can be caught anywhere, just like the floppers, just like the first shieldfish. Just make sure that you're fishing in a fishing hole, and then you'll eventually catch yourself your 19th fish. Now, the 20th fish that we have is the Peely Jellyfish. This guy is actually one of my favorite fish in the game, even though he's a little bit difficult to catch. What you're going to need to do is go to a mountainous area and actually have a pro fishing rod. So for your mountainous area, you can come on right over here. And for the pro fishing rod aspect to it, I'm going to link you back to where I talked about that at the beginning of the video, just because it'll take a while to explain it right now, and it would make the video extremely long if I did that for every fish that required the pro fishing rod. So just go back and watch that if you don't know how to get one, and this is a perfect mountainous area for the Peely Jellyfish. Now for your 21st fish, this is the Purple Jellyfish, and he can actually only be caught in coastal areas. So what you're going to want to do is actually come on down to this area right over here. My bad, I misclicked there. You're going to want to come right on down to this little fishing lounge, and then once you get there, there are a ton of fishing rods, and then just fish in this open water all throughout here. It's all a coastal area. Make sure that you're fishing in fishing holes, and then you'll eventually catch yourself the Purple Jellyfish. The 22nd fish, the Dark Vanguard Jellyfish, typically gives people a lot of issues, and typically it's one of the harder ones to catch. So this one is actually really simple in its description, but I'm still convinced that Epic is mislabeling this one. Now, throughout every season, since Chapter 2, Season 4, Fortnite has labeled this as only found at nighttime. But I am like 99% sure that it is nighttime and at a swamp location. So if you're having some tough luck catching the Dark Vanguard Jellyfish, then I would recommend coming over right to this giant lake. This place is a swamp area, and as long as you're fishing at night in the fishing holes, you'll eventually catch yourself the Dark Vanguard Jellyfish. It may take a little bit, but if you're doing it over here at nighttime, you should eventually catch this fish pretty quickly. Now, our 23rd fish is the Cuddle Jellyfish. Again, this guy is also caught in a swamp area, so what you're going to want to do is come on right over here to this giant lake in the middle of the map, which is yet again a surprising swamp area, and then as you're fishing throughout here, you'll eventually catch yourself your 23rd fish, the Cuddle Jellyfish. Now, moving on to our 24th fish, we have our final category of fish, and this is the spicy fish. I said fish so many times there, but this is the Molten Spicy Fish. Now, this guy can literally be caught anywhere, as long as you're fishing in a fishing hole with any type of fishing rod or harpoon gun, you'll eventually catch yourself the Molten Spicy Fish. Now, the 25th fish is the Drift Spicy Fish, and this guy can actually only be caught in forest areas. Now, there are very few forest areas fished this season, and thankfully, that is nice, because there are not really that many good forest area fishing spots. So, actually, just come on down right over here. There's like 5 fishing holes over there, and hopefully, you'll catch this fish pretty quickly. At least, I got this one on like my first try. So, either I just got lucky, or this is just a really easy one to catch, and they boosted the rates because there's not that many forest areas around the map. So yet again, 25th fish is the Drift Spicy Fish. Go on down to the forest area and you'll eventually catch it. Now, our third to last fish, the White Spotted Spicy Fish, is only caught in mountainous areas. Now, you can catch this guy with literally any fishing rod, but as long as you're fishing over here in this lake, you'll eventually catch yourself the 26th fish, the White Spotted Spicy Fish. The 27th fish, our penultimate fish for this chapter, is actually found in swamp areas. Now, the Southern Spicy Fish is a nice one because not only does it give you a little bit of a speed boost once you eat it, but it's also pretty simple to catch. Just come on down here to this giant lake and then start fishing away with your fishing rod, and eventually you'll catch yourself the 27th fish, the Southern Spicy Fish. Now, for our final fish, we have the Sky Blue Spicy Fish, our 28th fish. This is actually a relatively small fishing dex for this season, looking back at it right now, because last season, it started off as 50 fish, and then it got lowered down to 33, I believe. But even still, this is a pretty small fishing deck. So basically, the Sky Blue Spicy Fish can be found only in coastal areas. So yet again, like I've been recommending you guys, just go on over here to this little coastal area. Right over here is a great spot to get your fishing rods. Then go on to this water over here, and you'll eventually get yourself that Sky Blue Spicy Fish. So that is how to catch literally every fish in Fortnite Chapter 3 Season 1. Now, there may be more fish added throughout the season, and I'm actually highly anticipating that because this season is slated to be 108 days. So if they go 108 days without adding any fish, I think I'm going to go a little bit crazy because honestly, I love the fishing decks and I really hope that they do expand upon it as the season actually continues to go on and as we continue to see the map actually thaw away. But these are all of the locations for every single fish in Fortnite. If you actually did find this video helpful, then please consider leaving a like on it and subscribing to the channel as that would help me out a ton. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Oh, also consider popping in code GummyYoshi in your Fortnite item store as that would be amazing. I hope you guys all have an amazing day and we'll see you guys in the next one.